Chosen one, you ever walked into a room and felt the energy shift before you even opened your mouth, like people suddenly got quieter, started staring, whispering, acting strange for no reason? That feeling was never in your imagination. That was your presence speaking before you did. Because some people carry noise, and some people carry power, and power does not need permission to be noticed. Listen carefully, chosen one, because this message is not for ordinary minds. This is for the ones who always felt different, the ones who never fit into fake circles, the ones who kept getting betrayed even after showing loyalty, the ones who stayed silent while the world kept testing them. You thought your kindness made people love you, but instead it exposed how insecure they really were. Because every time you walked in with truth in your soul, fake people started trembling inside. And the craziest part is, you still kept trying to make yourself smaller so others would feel comfortable around you. But no matter how much you shrank yourself, they still envied you. They still talked about you. They still watched you in silence, because deep down they knew there was something different about your spirit, something rare, something impossible to copy, and today you finally stop apologizing for it. Now imagine a lion entering a field full of sheep. The lion does not need to attack anyone, does not need to roar or prove anything. His existence alone changes the atmosphere. Every weak soul around him suddenly feels exposed, because real power naturally reveals fake confidence. And that is exactly what happens when you walk into people's lives. You make them uncomfortable without trying, because your energy forces them to face everything they pretend to be. You carry authenticity in a world addicted to performance. You carry calmness in a world obsessed with chaos, and people can feel that instantly. Studies even showed that human beings judge energy before words. Conversations even begin. People already decide who feels powerful and who feels weak. And chosen one, your energy announces itself before your voice ever gets the chance. That is why some people either become obsessed with you or secretly resent you. There is no middle ground with someone like you, because your presence forces reactions out of people who spend their entire lives hiding behind masks. You probably noticed it yourself. The weird silence when you enter a room, the fake smiles, the side eyes, the strange tension in conversations. And for a long time you blamed yourself for it. You thought maybe you were too intense, too quiet, too different. But the truth is much deeper than that. People react strangely around you because your energy exposes what they try to hide. Insecure people feel weak around confidence. Fake people feel nervous around authenticity. And manipulative people hate anyone they cannot control. You became a mirror without even trying, and mirrors make people uncomfortable when they are not proud of what they see. That is why your silence hits harder than arguments ever could, because your energy alone says things their words never can. You do not need to beg for attention, yet attention always follows you. You do not chase validation, yet people still study your every move. And that is because your aura carries something unforgettable, something people cannot fully explain, but will never forget. And here is where most chosen ones make their biggest mistake. They start shrinking themselves just to make insecure people feel safe. They start over-explaining, dimming their light, acting smaller than they are because they fear being misunderstood. But every single time you reduce yourself for others, you betray your own purpose. You were not created to fit into weak environments. You were not born to spend your life making fragile people comfortable. Your energy was built to disrupt rooms, to shake fake foundations, to expose illusions, and that is why no matter how humble you try to be, people still react strongly to you, because real energy cannot hide itself forever. Your soul carries weight, your presence carries impact, and deep down people know it, even if they never admit it aloud. They may gossip about you behind closed doors, but those same people secretly respect the power they see in you, because nothing intimidates insecure souls more than someone who knows exactly who they are without needing approval from anyone else. And this is only the beginning, Because once a chosen one stops doubting themselves, everything around them starts changing. The people who underestimated you suddenly become nervous. The ones who ignored you suddenly start watching you. The same people who laughed at your silence start realizing your silence was never weakness. It was control. It was patience. It was power waiting for the right moment to rise. And trust me when I say this, your next chapter is going to make people question every way they treated you in the past, because the version of you that kept tolerating disrespect is disappearing forever, and the version rising now does not chase validation, does not beg for loyalty, does not explain itself to people committed to misunderstanding it. This version walks with confidence because it finally understands something important. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. The truth is, people never feared your words, they feared your awareness, because your intelligence sees through things most people miss. You notice changes in tone, fake intentions, hidden jealousy, silent competition, and manipulative behavior before people even realize they exposed themselves. That is why toxic people become uncomfortable around you, because you cannot be easily controlled. They call you guarded, suspicious, too observant, but the reality is your mind was sharpened through betrayal. Every fake friend trained your intuition. Every heartbreak strengthened your discernment. Every lie taught you how to recognize energy faster. And now you read people like open books while they struggle to understand you at all. Your intelligence became dangerous because it is quiet. It watches before reacting, it studies before speaking, and when you finally detach, there is no warning left to give, because once your soul decides someone no longer deserves your energy, there is nothing left for them to access. Pay attention to what happens when you finally go silent, because your silence drives people insane in ways arguments never could. They replay conversations in their head, they stalk your social media, they ask mutual friends about you. They try to provoke reactions because they cannot stand the feeling of losing access to someone they secretly depended on emotionally. But your silence is different now. It is no longer sadness. It is self-respect. It is the moment you stopped explaining yourself to people who never listened anyway. And the hardest thing for them to accept is you moved forward without needing revenge, without needing closure, without needing them at all. Because nothing destroys manipulative people more than realizing they can no longer affect your emotions. Your silence becomes their punishment. Your absence becomes the lesson they never expected, and suddenly the people who took you for granted start realizing your energy was the peace they will never find again. Here is something most people will never understand about you. Your kindness was never weakness. It was discipline. It was strength under control, because there is a side of you people only meet after pushing you too far, and when that side appears, there is no coming back from it. You gave chances when you should have walked away. You forgave people who never deserved forgiveness. You stayed loyal while others played games behind your back. But eventually, every chosen one reaches a breaking point where the fire inside them finally awakens, and when it does, people suddenly act shocked by your distance, your coldness, your boundaries, but they ignore all the disrespect that created it. They ignore how many times they crossed lines, lied, manipulated, or betrayed your trust before you finally changed, because people love gentle souls until those souls stop tolerating abuse. Then suddenly they call you different, cold, selfish, hard to reach. But the truth is simple. You just stopped sacrificing your peace for people committed to destroying it, and the people who hurt you will never fully recover from losing you. Not because you cursed them, not because you seek revenge, but because real energy is impossible to replace once it is gone. They may move on physically, they may pretend online, they may distract themselves with temporary connections, but deep down they know they lost something rare, because your presence brought honesty into their life, your loyalty brought peace, your support brought growth, and once someone experiences real connection, fake relationships start feeling empty forever. That is why people who betrayed you secretly watch your life from a distance, because they are haunted by what they lost. They compare everyone new to you, and still come up empty. They search for your energy in other people and realize nobody carries the same depth, the same loyalty, the same understanding, because chosen ones are not temporary experiences. They are life-changing lessons disguised as people. So hear this clearly before this message ends. Stop apologizing for your energy. Stop shrinking your spirit to fit into places that were never meant for you. Stop questioning why people react strongly to your presence, because the answer is simple. Your soul carries something powerful, and powerful things naturally disturb weak environments. You are not born to be average, not born to chase approval, not born to spend your life proving your worth to people who already see it but refuse to admit it. You were born to rise, to impact, transform every space you enter without even trying, and whether they clap for you or criticize you changes nothing, because your purpose was never dependent on their validation. Your journey was always bigger than their opinions. And the strongest part about your story is this: after every betrayal, every setback, every disappointment, you still kept going, you still became stronger. And that is exactly why your next chapter is going to shock everyone who ever underestimated you. There comes a moment in every chosen one's life where the pain stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like preparation, and that moment changes everything, because suddenly you stop asking why people betrayed you and start realizing every betrayal was pushing you toward a stronger version of yourself. Every fake friend revealed your discernment. Every heartbreak sharpened your intuition. Every setback forced you to grow into someone who no longer depends on outside validation. And now, the same people who thought they buried you are watching you rise higher than ever before, because what they failed to understand is that chosen ones do not break under pressure. They transform under it. They evolve inside the darkness. They become dangerous after surviving things that were meant to destroy them. And now your energy feels different because you are no longer operating from desperation. You are moving with purpose, silence, awareness, and confidence that cannot be faked by anyone. Around you, people underestimate quiet strength all the time. They assume calm people are weak. They think patience means softness. They mistake kindness for submission. And that is always their biggest mistake with someone like you, because underneath your calmness lives a fire built from years of surviving betrayal without losing your soul. You became someone who can love deeply while still walking away when necessary, someone who can forgive without reconnecting, someone who no longer needs revenge because success became your loudest response, and that energy confuses people who expected you to stay broken forever. They thought the disrespect would make you bitter, thought the rejection would destroy your confidence, thought isolation would make you weak, but instead every painful experience became fuel, every disappointment became motivation, and every lonely season built the discipline now separating you from everyone who once doubted your potential. What scares people most is realizing they can no longer control your emotions because the old version of you reacted instantly, explained too much, gave endless chances, stayed loyal even when loyalty was not returned. But now your silence feels colder, your boundaries feel stronger, your energy feels unreachable, and that shift unsettles people deeply because they lost access to the version of you that tolerated nonsense just to keep peace. Now you protect your peace instead of sacrificing it, and suddenly the people who once ignored your value start realizing how rare your presence really was. They notice nobody else listens the way you listened, supports the way you supported, understands the way you understood, and by the time they recognize it, you are already emotionally gone, already focused on your future, already becoming someone they can no longer reach the same way again. And let us speak honestly about your aura. Because your aura was never normal, you carry an energy that naturally exposes insecurity in weak people. Your confidence without arrogance irritates those who rely on attention for self-worth. Your silence makes loud people nervous. Your independence intimidates those addicted to validation, and your authenticity frustrates people living behind masks. That is why you constantly trigger reactions without trying, because your existence reminds others of everything they abandoned within themselves. When someone spends years pretending to be something they are not, meeting someone genuine feels threatening, and instead of healing themselves, they project onto you, gossip about you, judge you, or secretly compete with you. But deep down, their obsession always comes from one thing. They recognize something real inside you that they cannot fake within themselves. The most powerful thing about you is that you stopped needing to announce your growth. You move differently now. You build quietly, heal privately, and evolve without explaining every step to the world. And this silent transformation is exactly what makes people watch you so closely, because they cannot predict your next move anymore. They only see the results, the glow-up, the confidence, the peace, the emotional detachment, and it drives them crazy, wondering how someone they once underestimated became so untouchable. But what they never saw were the nights you cried alone, the battles you fought silently, the moments you almost gave up but kept moving anyway. Your strength was earned through survival, not luck, and that is why your success is going to feel different, because it was built on discipline, while others wasted time doubting you. Listen carefully, because this part matters the most. The people who walked away from you, thinking they could replace you, are eventually going to realize nobody carries energy like yours. They will meet attractive people, successful people, entertaining people, but they will still feel something missing, because what made you unforgettable was never just appearance or attention. It was depth, loyalty, honesty, emotional intelligence, intuition, presence, and peace, all existing in one person. You made people feel seen without judgment, understood without explanation, loved without conditions, and once someone experiences that kind of energy, ordinary connections stop satisfying them forever. They may pretend they moved on, but your absence quietly follows them everywhere, because rare souls leave permanent impressions on the people who encounter them. And the funniest part is, you are no longer chasing anyone to prove your worth. You stopped begging for understanding, stopped arguing with people committed to misunderstanding you, stopped shrinking your personality just to fit inside environments too small for your spirit. Now you walk differently, because you finally understand something powerful. The right people will never require you to abandon yourself in order to keep them comfortable, and the wrong people will always feel threatened once you stop lowering your standards for their convenience. So now you choose peace over drama, distance over disrespect, solitude over fake loyalty, and somehow that decision alone elevated your entire life, because protecting your energy changed everything around you. There are people secretly watching your transformation right now, people who once laughed at your dreams, ignored your value, underestimated your intelligence, or doubted your future, and now they sit quietly observing how far you have come while pretending not to care. But energy never lies. They feel the shift. They notice your confidence, your discipline, your emotional control, your growth, and what hurts them most is realizing you achieved all of it without needing validation from anyone who once rejected you, because chosen ones eventually learn one important lesson: the opinions of people who lack vision should never decide your future, and once you fully understand that truth, nothing can stop your elevation anymore. The next chapter of your life is not about revenge. It is about alignment. It is about becoming everything you were always meant to be without apologizing for your power, and that journey is going to separate you from many people who only benefited from the weaker version of you. Some relationships will end, some friendships will fade, some people will suddenly dislike you for no reason, but do not fear that process, because elevation always creates distance between you and those committed to remaining stagnant. Your spirit outgrew environments that once felt comfortable, and now your future requires stronger boundaries, clearer vision, deeper discipline, and complete trust in yourself, because where you are going, weak energy cannot follow. So as you move forward, remember this: you were never too much, never too intense, never too difficult to love. You simply carried a depth most people were emotionally unprepared for. Your loyalty was rare, your heart was genuine, Your spirit was powerful, and insecure people often destroy the very things they secretly need the most. But that loss belongs to them, not you, because despite everything you survived, you still chose growth instead of bitterness, wisdom instead of revenge, peace instead of chaos, and that decision alone makes you unstoppable. The world may have tested you repeatedly, but every test only revealed how strong your soul truly is, and now nothing can stop what is coming for you. Not betrayal, not gossip, not rejection, not fear. Because once a chosen one fully realizes their value, the entire game changes forever in one day. The same people who doubted you will have no choice but to watch your success from a distance. They will remember the version of you they underestimated while witnessing the version they can no longer access. They will realize too late that your silence was strength, your kindness was power, your loyalty was rare, and your absence became permanent. Because people often fail to appreciate chosen ones until the door closes behind them forever, but by then your focus will already be somewhere higher, somewhere bigger, somewhere aligned with the future you fought through pain to create. So keep rising, keep building, keep protecting your peace, because your story was never meant to end in the same place where others expected you to fail. Your story was always meant to become proof that powerful souls cannot be destroyed, only transformed.